Hey there, fourth graders. Our read aloud that we're going to focus on this week, and we'll also be using this book for the following week. It's called Fourth Grade Rats, and it's by Jerry Spinelli. Now, as we use this book, we're going to work on our learning goal for this week. I can notice a character's thoughts, words, or actions and how they help me picture the character. So what we're going to do as I read this book, we're going to take some notes, or I'm going to actually model for you how to take notes on the main character's thoughts, the words he is saying, and some of the actions that he will be doing in the story. By the end of the chapter, we will take our notes and use it to form an idea about what our character is. We'll give him a couple personality traits. Before I start reading the story, I'm going to set up my notes in my reading journal. I'll make 3 separate boxes by drawing 2 lines. And at the very top, I'm going to write T for the character's thoughts, because that is part of our learning goal. I'll also write W in the next box for words our character says in the book. And then on the last box, I will make hands that represents actions, and I'll write the letter A for actions. This will represent what the character does in the story. So as I read my book, I'm going to jot down any notes that could be in each section. What the character's thoughts are, what the words are, and his actions. Fourth Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. Okay, I'm looking at the front cover and I'm noticing a couple of things going on. First, I'm going to predict that the setting is on the playground, maybe at school. I also think that the boy at the very top is our main character, and I'm guessing he's going to be in 4th grade based on our title. I'm also going to predict that the boy seems frightened. He looks pretty frightened in his face as he's stuck up on a tree. Chapter 1. Rats Don't. 1st grade babies, 2nd grade cats, 3rd grade angels, 4th grade rats. It was the first recess at the first day of school. A mob of 3rd graders had me and Joey Peterson backed up against the monkey bars. Go ahead and pause this video and share with your learning coach what the setting is in the first chapter of 4th grade rats. Again, you can rewind the video and listen again, but try and figure out what the setting is in the first chapter of 4th grade rats. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read page 3. As I read page 3, I want you to try and figure out who the narrator of the story is. Who is the narrator of the story? He's going to be our main character. What is his name? They were giving us the old chant. When they came to the word rats, they screamed it in our faces. Then they ran off laughing. I wish I was still in 3rd grade, I said. Why? Said Joey. So I could still be an angel. Not me. He climbed onto the first bar. I waited 3 years to be a rat. He climbed to the next bar. And now I am a rat. I noticed my character said, I wish I was still in 3rd grade, so I will take what he said. It also doesn't look like we know what the character's name is yet, so let me keep on reading. He climbed to the top bar. He shouted over the schoolyard. and proud of it. I started to climb. My sneakers slipped on a bar and I went down instead of up. The first thing I landed on was my hand. My thumb got bent back, way back. Pain! I howled as loud as I could. Okay, it looks like I caught an action. My character, he climbed and fell off the monkey bars. So I'm going to go ahead and put that under action. We're still on page 3. It still hurt. I kicked the ground, the monkey bars, the nearest tree. My thumb still hurt, and so did my foot. Only one thing left to do. I cried. Looks like we caught our character crying, so where can we put that under his thoughts, words, or actions? So I'm going to mark here under actions on page 4, he cried when he fell. Joy's voice came down from the high monkey bar. Rats don't cry. The bell rang to end recess. I jogged, sniffling to the door. When I got there, Judy Billings was behind me. Like a miracle, the pain in my thumb disappeared. For me, there was no such thing as pain when Judy Billings was around. I loved her. I was sure that any day she would start to love me back. In the meantime, she mostly ignored me. But I kept trying. Judy was in the other 4th grade class, so I didn't see too much of her. When I did, I figured I had to make the most of it. Okay, so it looks like our character is thinking just how much he loves Judy Billings. So I'm going to write that under thoughts. Again for page 4, loves Judy Billings. That's why I held the door open for her. She went through. As usual, she ignored me. I didn't care. For 1 second, she was inches away. Heaven was a trainload of those seconds. Okay, so also within our actions, our character opened the door for Judy. So I'm going to write that under actions. Opened the door for Judy. A little while later, during silent reading, a spider crawled onto Becky Hibble's book. Becky screamed and flipped her book into the air. The book landed on the floor. The spider landed in my lap. Next thing I know, I'm on my desktop, tap dancing and yelling, "Get him off me! Get him off me!" On the way to lunch, Joey's whisper came again. Rats don't get scared of spiders. Okay, looks like our character said something interesting. I'm going to write under words, get him off me. He said that as the spider landed on his lap. We sat together in the lunchroom, just like last year, and we both brought our lunches from home, just like last year. We sat at our usual table. I opened my lunchbox. I was checking out my stuff when I heard Joey snickering. I looked up. He was wagging his head. His face was smirky. I looked around the lunchroom. "What's funny?" "That," he said. He was pointing at my lunchbox. "What's wrong with it?" I said. "Ain't that the same one you had last year?" "Yeah, so what?" He snickered again. "Look at it." I looked at it. "So? What do you see?" "I see a lunchbox. What do you see? A Martian?" He flipped the cover down. "Look at it. What's on it? All over it." I looked again. "Elephants." He broke out laughing. He pounded the table. His face was red. I had never known I could make him so happy. He tried to talk a couple of times. What? But he kept cracking up. Finally, he slapped his hand over his eyes and got it out. What are they doing? The elephants? Yeah. They're flying. This time, I thought lunch would be over before he stopped laughing. Other kids were looking over. Gerald Willis, a sixth grader and the school bully, threw a french fry at Joey, but that didn't stop him. I unwrapped my sandwich. I didn't have all day. At long last, he took a deep breath. He said, "Right, flying elephants, big flapping ears, doing yo-yos with their trunks." "Some of them," I corrected him. "Other ones have fishing poles." His cheeks bulged with laugh balls, but he swallowed them. I want you to imagine that, bulging your cheeks with air, making laugh balls. Okay, we still haven't found out our character's name in the story. Let's go ahead and start reading page 9. Morton, he made himself serious. "Don't you get it?" "Get what?" "Flying elephants on your lunchbox, man. That's little kid stuff." He picked up his paper bag. He wagged it in my face. "This is what a rat brings his lunch in." I took a bite of my sandwich. "What do I care?" "That's just it, man. You oughta care." He opened his bag. "If you don't care, who will? Your mom probably got you that box, right?" "Yeah, I guess." "Right. Moms, they just want to keep you a baby all your life. Suds, I'm telling ya, you gotta put a stop to it now. If you leave it up to your mom, you'll be going off to college with a flying elephant lunchbox." Okay, did you catch the name of our character? Go ahead and share with your learning coach what the name of our character is going to be in this story. That's right, Suds Morton. I'm going to go ahead and write Suds Morton on my chart that I made of his thoughts, words, and actions. So let me go ahead and write Suds Morton. He is going to be our narrator of the 4th grade Rats. I looked at my lunchbox. I had it since 1st grade, when I was a baby, and glad of it. Most of the other kids broke their lunchboxes or lost them, so they got new ones every year. My lunchbox just kept rolling on. The elephants were fading, and some were even starting to look like hippos. But I loved my lunchbox. It was like a brother to me. Now that I thought about it, I wasn't even sure I could eat lunch at school without it. And as for my lunchbox going off to college with me someday, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't see anything so bad about that. I looked at Joey. He was wagging his head and smirking again. Uh-oh, I thought it's not just the lunchbox. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write under what Sud's thoughts were on his lunchbox. Seems like he loved his lunchbox with elephants, and he also said he doesn't care what others think. So I'm going to write that down too. All right, so let's go ahead and review our notes because this ties in with our learning goal, noticing the character's thoughts, words, and actions. What were some of the things Suds was thinking about? Okay, he loves Judy Billings. He loved his lunchbox with elephants and doesn't care what others think. Okay, let's move on to what was said. Suds said, "I wish I was in 3rd grade." He also said, "Get him off me." That's in reference to the spider that landed on him. And with his actions, he climbed and fell off the monkey bars. He also cried when he fell. On page 5, he opened the door for Judy. Okay, so we're going to use these notes and we're going to paint a picture of our character based on these notes. And in order to paint a picture, we're going to assign a couple personality traits to Suds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post on this lesson a little cheat sheet for you, basically, on characters, personality traits, and words that you can use less and other words that you can use more. So, for example, instead of using someone being angry, you can use other words such as furious. So this chart will actually help you use less kindergarten, first grade language, and will push you to use more of a fifth grade type of vocabulary. Okay, so using this, I'm actually going to use Joey as an example for you. So what I'm going to do is use any evidence that I found in the text with my answer, and then I'm also going to assign him a character trait. So, for example, I think Joey is insensitive. I think this because he said rats don't cry to Suds. So the personality I assigned to Joey was insensitive, and I came to that conclusion because he said rats don't cry. And I found that with the evidence inside the actual text. So you're going to do the same thing. I would like for you to, as your ticket out, I'd like for you to look over the notes that I helped make for you. And I want you to describe Suds. What is his personality? I think Suds is blank. I think this because blank. As far as proof of why you think Suds is whatever personality you choose him, make sure you use the notes that I created. That way I know that you were following along. You can go ahead and post your answer in the comments section. That way I can give you credit for this lesson. Okay, so that ends chapter 1 of 4th grade Rats. Tomorrow we'll read chapter 2 and pick up with our learning goal of the week.